What is mindfulness? What are its benefits? Who can benefit from it? And how can you apply it to your life right now? Stay tuned to find out.
This is a Candy Factory Mini, Mastering the Mindful Mindset.
Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of Mastering the Mindful Mindset. I'm your host, José Johnson. Today, we're going to talk about what mindfulness is, what benefits you can get from being more mindful, and why being mindful may not be as difficult as you might think. Mindfulness. What images come to mind for you when I say mindfulness? Is it sitting twisted up like a pretzel, burning incense and chanting? Do you think that being mindful is looking and acting like you went to one too many Grateful Dead shows? Do you believe that mindfulness practices conflict with your religious or philosophical beliefs? Or maybe you think that it has no place in the hustle and grind world of business. Well, stick with me, and over the course of the next few episodes, I'll help you to better understand what mindfulness is and what it isn't, explain how mindfulness works and what its benefits are, and to even drill down into practical ways that mindfulness can be applied at home, at work, and as maybe the best possible prescription for our social woes. So to start out with, what is mindfulness? The clinical definition of mindfulness is the self-regulation of attention with an attitude of curiosity, openness, and acceptance. Basically, mindfulness is just our ability to choose what we focus on. Mindfulness is a way to change how we view our inner and outer worlds. Now, here's a little experiment I want you to try right now. Focus your attention on me. Now, take one hand and place it in your field of vision between you and my image. Now, depending on what most captures your attention, either my image will be clearer than your hand or vice versa. Now, take your other hand and place it in the field of vision in front of your first hand. What happened this time? What's clear and what's blurry? Now, try to shift your focus between the objects. First, focus on the closest hand and notice what happens to your other hand and my image. Now, focus on the middle hand. Now, focus on me again. Did you notice that as your attention is drawn to one object, the other objects become fuzzy? Now, that's what we do with mindfulness. Mindfulness is not about having no thoughts. It's about focusing on a single thought or idea. When you're mindful, you're simply making a conscious choice about your thoughts and your perceptions. Now, there's a common misconception that mindfulness is just about being in the present moment, but that's not the whole story. The human brain is designed to be able to time travel. While we experience things in the present moment, we also have the ability to travel to the past and the future. When the brain goes back in time, we're accessing our memory. When we go forward in time, we're using what some consider to be one of the crowning glories of evolution, our imagination and creativity, the ability to see things that as of this moment don't exist. Now, think about that previous exercise, and let's say that the object that's furthest away is your future, and the one in the middle is your present, and the one closest to you is your past. When you're being in the moment, you would focus your attention on that middle object, the present, so that the future and the past become less dominant in your perceptions. Not focusing on the present is certainly a huge problem. Many of us are either too focused on our past or too worried about what our future might look like that we can't fully function in the present. When we get stuck in our time travel, we're too focused on the past. We become plagued by guilt and depression. And when we become obsessed with the future, we become victims of fear and anxiety. When we're trapped between the two, we feel stress. By that I mean that we feel our future fears pulling us forward and our past pains holding us back. And in the present moment, we feel stuck in the middle of an emotional tug of war. But always being in the present moment is not the solution. While life is lived in the present moment, we have the abilities of memory and imagination for a reason. Without our ability to learn from the past, we would never be able to learn from our experiences, the successes and the failures. And without the ability to dream and imagine, we wouldn't be able to set goals. We'd lose our direction in life. So how do you break the cycle? The answer is by learning to focus on the correct moment. And that's what mindfulness does for us. Being mindful doesn't erase the past, but it can allow you to look at it from a new perspective. And being mindful doesn't mean that you don't plan for the future. Rather, it gives you a firm foundation from which to start. Being mindful allows you to more fully enjoy the present moment as part of a larger experience that pulls from both what we have seen and what is still yet to come. So you may be asking yourself, are the abilities to focus your attention the only thing mindfulness can do for me? Well, the answer is no. There's so much more. Current research into the benefits of mindfulness show that mindfulness practice can reduce your stress. It lowers your blood pressure. It can help reduce chronic pain, improve sleep. It helps to alleviate gastrointestinal difficulties. It's an effective treatment for a variety of mental health issues like depression and anxiety. It increases focus, productivity, and creativity. It increases your EQ, that's your emotional quotient, and it reduces the JQ, the jerk quotient. In other words, mindfulness helps you to become more patient and understanding and less reactive and confrontational. Mindfulness has become the new magic bullet for our fast-paced, high-stress society. And all of the current scientific research backs up what Eastern civilizations have known for centuries, that mindfulness practices are beneficial for the body, mind, and spirit. But there is a catch. Many of the ancient traditional methods are shrouded in a veil of mysticism, ritual, and dogma, things that create a barrier to the average person, the very person who would most benefit from mindfulness. And many of the people who already practice and teach traditional methods of mindfulness, they've not upgraded their practice to take advantage of all the new knowledge of how the brain works. Discoveries that would greatly improve the efficiency and the effectiveness of their practices. And that's really the main objective of both my book and this show, to demystify the mystical and to simplify the scientific, to help you understand why you should be embracing a mindful lifestyle by giving you a peek behind the curtain into how and why it works, and providing a common sense approach to mastering your mindful mindset. So who's mindfulness for? Is it only for the super stressed out? Is it only for those who are seeking to become one with the universe? Look, in the business world, there's currently a big catchphrase, and that's to identify your customer avatar. The idea is that you should have a clear picture of who would best benefit from your product or your services. Is it an individual or corporation? How old are they? What's their gender, their education level? How many employees do they have? What's their business sector? Look, you get the picture. The point is that you want to fine-tune your customer profile to be as narrow as possible. The reasoning is that you can't be everything to everybody, and that if you try to make everyone your customer, you usually end up with no one as your customer. So, who is the ideal avatar for mindfulness? Who stands to benefit the most? Anyone looking to create change. As humans, we can either change by default or by design. To change by default means that we allow our circumstances to dictate how we approach life. You change by default when you have no other choice. You decide to do things to lower your stress because your blood pressure is through the roof. You decide to become less reactive because you've been called into HR one too many times. You decide to become more focused because you're about to fail a class. This is change by default. To change by design, we choose to proactively improve ourselves simply because we know that we're capable of so much more. We choose to eliminate stress because Life's too short to sweat the small stuff. You choose to be less reactive because you enjoy the feeling of being calm and centered. You choose to become more focused and aware because you want to experience and absorb everything that life has to offer. So mindfulness can be the tool that helps to facilitate change by default, or it can be the instrument that allows us to express change by design. The benefits of mindfulness can be applied at home, in the boardroom, or in the classroom. It can help improve communications between managers and employees, parents and children, or just in how you talk to yourself. Mindfulness can help high achievers get into the zone, to rev up their productivity and creativity, to help them take it to the next level. Or it can be used to help you chill out and calm down to prevent burnout. And over the course of the next few months, I'll be taking a deeper look into the specifics of how mindfulness can be applied by everyone from CEOs in search of ways to improve corporate culture to the person just looking for a way to find a little more joy in their life. Remember, mindfulness gives us the ability to change our focus, our perceptions. And when we change what we think and how we think, we begin to change our results, our lives, our world. So if you wonder if mindfulness is right for you, ask yourself these questions. Do you need to change things in your life? Do you want to change things in your life? If the answer to either of these questions was yes, then you need to add mindfulness to your toolbox. In my next episode, I'll be sharing with you ways that mindfulness can be applied to the woes of pandemic parenting. But even if you aren't a parent, there'll be plenty of information that you can use to increase your focus and reduce your stress. Between now and then, though, make sure you go back and watch some of my previous episodes, particularly episode 10, where I talk about mindfulness and the time travel paradox. Now, here's a little homework assignment for you. For the next 2 weeks, I want you to apply a technique that I call the reset breath. This is a technique that I covered in detail in episode 1. Every time that you feel the need to shift gears mentally, take a moment or two to simply breathe as slowly and as deeply as you can. Now, when you inhale, you should feel your abdomen and lower back expand. And to help get this feeling, you can put one hand just below your belly button and the other hand in the small of your back. And imagine your abdomen is like a big balloon. So it works like this. You take a nice deep breath in, expanding, and then you let it go. A nice, long, slow breath out. Now, for bonus points, as you exhale, say in your head the words that describe the state that you want to be in or that you need to be in, like calm, or focus, or you got this. Just try to make sure that the statement is a positive one. So say something like, be happy, and not, don't get mad. So there you have it. I hope that you enjoyed our time together and that you have a better understanding of what mindfulness is and about the benefits that you can get from it. If you have a question or a topic you'd like me to cover in a future episode, just drop it in the comments section and I'll do my best to help you out. Make sure you subscribe and share this episode with someone that you feel could benefit from this information, and also take time to check out all of the other programming brought to you by the Candy Factory Collective here on the So Good Lancaster Media Network. So until next time, remember, it is what it is, but it becomes what you make it. So make it great. Mastering the Mindful Mindset is part of the Candy Factory miniseries and is a proud member of the Candy Factory Collective.
Learn more about José at his website, josejohnson.com. Mastering the Mindful Mindset is produced by the Candy Factory Collective for So Good Lancaster, another great project of the Candy Factory, a co-working and social club in Lancaster, PA. Production support by Jason Mundok and Anna Tran. Administrative support by Ann Kirby and Arianna Henderson. Find out what makes Lancaster so good at sogoodlancaster.com. Candy Factory.
Collective.